Hi, this is Sonia with RC Solutions, and today I want to show you how I uploaded these PNG file folders, or not file folders, but images into Cricut Design Space, printed them, cut them out, and then added some mixed media to it to give it like a distressed, grungy kind of look. The only thing I don't like is the shine, but because I had to add some super heavy gloss gel. That's all I had. I didn't have any matte gel. And I did that because I have an inkjet printer. And when I printed the image out, I didn't want it to get destroyed when I added extra mediums on there because I didn't want it to get watered down. So that's why that shines on there. But it's got like Crackle paste and some alcohol inks and different things like that on there. And this is like a vintage sewing box. And actually it was from an image of an actual sewing box that I had. And I'll have a link to Pixel Scrap. Well, it's digitalscrapbook.com. It used to be called Pixel Scrapper. And I uploaded this image because I'm a member of Pixel Scrapper. And you can get this free image from there. And I'll provide the link to where you can get it if you're interested in it. But yeah, this was my original picture because I used to actually have this sewing box that I gotten from a flea market, and I took a picture of it, put it in Photoshop, cleaned it up, and then uploaded it to Pixel Scrapper and shared it. But yeah, that's what this image is. It's a vintage sewing box because I'm doing like a sewing theme journal, and I'm trying to get different pieces of ephemera and stuff to go. And so far, what all do we have? So far, we've got different types of ephemera that's going to kind of go together. From previous videos, you may have seen these that I'd made, and then some of these. And I have a video on how I did that. So, but yeah, that's what this is about. So just sit back and I'll show you how I made it. So you're going to start out by opening up a brand new file, and you're going to upload your image that you want. And mine's a PNG file that I got from Pixel Scrapper or digitalscrapbook.com. And like I said, I'll have a link in the description if you want that. And I always save mine as complex because it gives you the option to do like print, cut, and different options to clean up the image if you need to, which I don't need to because it already has a transparent background. So I just save it as a print and cut file, give it a title, add some tags. That way I can identify it in the future whenever I'm ready to use it. Like if I just type it in the Cricut Design Space, it may pop up if I don't want to just click on my stuff. So we're labeling it, and we click apply, and then we're just going to click on that same image that we just uploaded, and we're going to enter it into add it to our canvas. And it's going to be a pretty big size, so you have to downsize. You can either take the little handles and drag and click, or you can just type in, like I'm getting ready to do, just type in the size and it'll resize it for you. It's a whole lot quicker just doing it that way instead of trying to find it on the screen and move it around. So now I'm going to add an offset. So you want to go up to the menu and find the offset, what do you call it, tool, I guess. And what that's going to do is just going to add like a stroke to it. If you're familiar with Photoshop, adding a stroke just adds like the outside line. And the reason why I do that is so that when it prints out, it doesn't print in the actual image. It'll just print some of that outer part of it. So I added the offset, and I'm going to change the color to white because when it prints, it's going to print out that same color. So you can leave it black if you want, but I like to leave mine white. And so that offset becomes a separate layer. And so I'm going to combine the two. I'm going to group them by left clicking both layers and highlighting it. And then I'm going to hit flatten. I'm going to group it and then flatten it. And it becomes one image. And I'm just renaming that image. And I'm wanting to, you can resize it here if you like. And then I'm just going to duplicate the image. And then, and this is just an option. I'm going to realign it. Well, I'm duplicating a couple of images. And I hit shift click for each layer. And then I'm going to align them. You don't have to do that. This is just optional. Just align it horizontally. Then I'm going to group them together. And I'm going to duplicate it again. And then I'm going to put those down at the bottom. And I'm going to shift click each layer. And I'm going to align them again horizontally. And like I said, it's just an option. Then we're just going to right click and group them together. And then you can resize it to whatever size you want. And I wanted to try to make sure that they can all print on the same 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Depending on your printer or the type of printer that you have. Some people have wide formats, but I just had the regular printer. And so I'm going to save my project. I'll just give it a name. And if you want to put it, if you have like a project folder, you can save it in that. And I'll put mine in my shabby ephemera. And I think we're getting ready to go make it now. Yeah, we're going to make it. But for some reason, I thought that all of those little sewing boxes were going to print on the same paper, but it's not. It's somehow Cricut caused it to get printed out on 2 separate sheets of paper, which I've only chose to print it out on 1. So we're going to get started with it. And we're going to print it. And I'm going to take the bleed off because since we added that offset, we don't need to add the bleed. So we're just going to go ahead and print it as it is. And once we print it, we're going to add it to our mat. Okay, so now I'm getting ready to load this onto the mat. And I'm just going to put it on here, and then we're just going to let it cut out. Make sure I get this good. Feed it in there. Okay, so I'm just getting ready to take these off. So I'm just going to lift this up and peel it slowly. Sometimes it cuts good, sometimes it doesn't. Even if it doesn't, I can take some scissors and fix it. I can fix it myself manually. It's fine. I'm just going to take these off. And then we get to start having fun with it. Now I left that border on there on purpose because I created that, what do we call it? The offset. I created that little offset on there so that you wouldn't have to do the bleed when it prints. Because sometimes it seems like whenever I print and the bleed is on, it doesn't print quite as crisp, and I don't like that. So that's why I had that on there. But whenever you're uploading something and you do add the offset, you also want to make sure that your printer, your Cricut is, what do you call it, aligned correctly, because that can make a difference of having like a lot on this side versus a little on this side. So you might want to check that too. So anyway, but I can just go around it since there's that extra white on there. I don't like that. I'm gonna have to realign my cutter, my what do you call it, Cricut, because it's not printing the way I want it to. But anyway, let me just go ahead and show you what I'm getting ready to do with this. Okay, so basically all I'm going to do with these right here is Okay, let me zoom in a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm getting ready to do. I'm just going to take this acrylic paint pen, black, and some Archival Ink coffee, and I'm just going to distress it. I'm just going to kind of go around the outside of the image just to try to highlight it a little bit. And then I'm just going to take some, I want to distress it using the acrylic ink after I go around this. Because I have an inkjet printer, and sometimes it doesn't really show the images quite as well as a laser printer would. So this is like an extra option to make the image a little bit more crisp. Okay, then I'm just going to take the ink. Let me back up just a little bit. And I'm just going to distress around the edge. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and rub some of this ink all over the white. So even though it had that, the offset, it's not as bad. And I cut off some of that offset as well, manually. But if my Cricut machine was aligned like it's supposed to be, we wouldn't have had that problem. But here it is. Here are these images. And I think I'm going to add some texture paste, or crackle, just some translucent crackle, just to give it that extra look. Or, no, I think instead of using translucent, I'm going to use the matte crackle and then go back over it with some ink with a contrasting color. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Distress Texture Paste Crackle, and I'm going to take a dab of this alcohol ink. I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea, but I'm just going to mix it on this surface. Hold on, let me put this ink pen back up. I'm trying to play with different mediums. I'm not sure how this is going to turn out, but we're going to see anyway. That's the fun of it. Alright, so we're going to set these here, and then part of it I'm just going to add like a little dab and see what happens. Because I imagine you don't need a whole lot. And this is, what kind is this? Teakwood, I think? Yeah, this is Teakwood. And part of this texture paste, crackle texture paste, I wonder if I should have did it translucent or if I should have left it this color. Some of it I'm going to leave white and some of it I'm just going to leave that color. And I'm just going to randomly just put it on here. I don't know how it's going to turn out. Like I said, I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea, but we're getting ready to find out. I probably should have used the translucent, that way you could see through it. But I want to see what this is going to do. I don't know. I've used translucent before, but I kind of don't like how it leaves such a shiny look to it. So that's why I'm using this matte. But I don't know. It's, like I said, it might not be a good idea. We're getting ready to find out. So I'm just going to have to let this sit for a little while, a few hours, and come back to it and see what we have. Alright. Okay, so these dried pretty quickly, and I do like the crackle on there. But I need to darken it, and I'm not sure what to use. But before I add any other mediums to it, I'm going to add some of this Gloss Super Heavy Gel by Liquitex. And that way, if I do add inks, I'll still be able to see the image right here. And the only thing is I don't like the shininess that it gives. But at least I know if I add any other paints or things like that over top of it, it won't ruin the printed out ink. Because I have an inkjet printer, and if the image gets wet, then you won't be able to see it too well. So I figure if I put this Super Gloss Heavy Gel over top of it, I'm not using a whole lot. I'm trying to only use a little bit. Yeah, my goal is that it won't ruin the image up underneath. So I'm going to have to let that dry and just put a little bit of this texture paste, not texture paste, but this sticky glue on here, this gel. And hopefully everything will maintain their properties. I'm experimenting, so I don't know what I'm doing, guys. So we're doing this together, okay? But if you know of techniques, especially for someone who's used a inkjet printer, and they're wanting to add other mediums, if you know another type of medium that I could use, so that my image isn't destroyed when I add other things on top. Because I'm considering spraying on some alcohol ink, but I know that it might make the ink run, and I don't want that to happen. So that's why I'm putting this one here. I kind of think I should have did this before doing the Crackle, but oh well. You live and you learn, right? Like I said, I'm not real sure what I'm doing. Wonder if I should do another coat of Crackle. No, I'm not. I'm just going to leave it alone. Alright, let's see how quickly this can dry. I'm going to give it a few minutes. Okay, so these are dry now, and they do have a shiny finish, and I do not like that. But on the bright side, I can still see the image pretty well, and I think it's protected. So I'm going to add a little bit of this brown alcohol ink. It's from Bakers and Crafters. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray this, and I'm just going to dip this in it. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I kind of like that. I like that darkened look. I need a brush. Let me get a paintbrush. Okay, and I've got this little small paintbrush. I think I'm just going to paint on some color. I'll probably come back through. Actually, I'm gonna put a drop of this Teakwood in here because it's an it's an alcohol ink as well. And I'm gonna spray a little bit more of that alcohol spray. Let's see what we can come up with. Let me zoom in so you can kind of see. I like that. how you have the different layers of brown. Slide this down so you can see what we got going on. A little bit here, here. I definitely like it on that crackle and along the edges of this. Make it look kind of rustic and very vintage. I don't know what that is flying around here. Okay, I'm going to set that to the side. I'm going to try to do the same thing first. Just going to dip this. Dip that in the brown. I wonder if I just spray it directly on there. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. And then I can just smear it. Add a little bit of Teakwood. Okay, so I'm pretty much done with it now. So this is what it looks like. It does have some texture on there, and you can see some of the crackle in there. And it does have that distressed, like it's been weathered and everything. I just hate that shine. I really do hate that shine. I don't know, maybe I could take like a, oh, I hate that shine. Wonder if I could rub some of this ink over top of it. I don't know. It's still gonna have a shine to it. Yeah, it's still gonna have a shine no matter what. But I guess it's not so bad, you know. I can live with it. I really do like that texture though. On these. Picked up pretty well, that crackle did. Alright, well, so if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos and blog and social media sites. And as always, I thank you guys so much for watching.